Hi, I'm Susan Zody, and I am the founder and director of Narrowgate Horse Ranch.
And I'm Scott McDonald, and I'm the equine specialist here.
Narrowgate Horse Ranch came about around 3 years ago, but it actually started as another program in Kokomo that was for kids who live in poverty, and they would come on Sunday evenings to eat a meal, and then they would come up for a little Bible story, and then it turned into where we would have games and different things, but it was mostly young kids, little toddlers, and 5 or 6 years and younger. But as those kids grew up, some of them would come to eat a meal, but they wouldn't necessarily stay to hear the stories. And we had hoped to be able to speak into the lives of some of these kids. So we decided, I was wondering, what can I do to keep these kids coming? So I had remembered about a program I had heard of years before in Oregon, and it was a horse ranch for kids that had lived in poverty. There was a lot of neglect and abuse. I wondered if there was anything like that around Kokomo, and we found actually a couple traditional therapeutic horse ranches, and we were able to go there for several years. It started out with just 1 week in the summer, and then it kind of developed into a thing where we were able to go once a month, and then some money came in and we were able to go actually to start the one in Kokomo so that kids could come even more often. We have different programs that we use with different kids as we get to know them and kind of get to know what their needs are. A lot of these kids have been very neglected and very abused, and they really have a hard time just forming relationships. And so some of what we do is just, they come here really to build a relationship with a horse. And that's how it got started, because I was not really a horse person. Now, he's worked with horses all of his life.
And this kid, he's had a lot of issues. He's 16, had a lot of issues. I know his backstory, and that doesn't matter. But I told him, I said, I'm going to make this thing your project. Put him in there with this mare, and 15 minutes later, she was in his pocket and wouldn't leave. I mean, he could walk anywhere, and that mare was right there with him. You know, he'd love on her a little bit, and you know. And when that happened, I said, you know, you're the only one I've ever seen get her to do that. And his face just lit up. You know,
It's amazing.
You know, and you know, I want these kids to gain some confidence and know that if they do things correctly, there'll be a good ending.
First farmers, even when we were just getting started, they did believe in us enough. We didn't have a whole lot really going on at that point, but we had to start somewhere, and we needed funding just to even get going. And so First Farmers Bank is one of the first businesses that really, they took a chance on us. Did I just get really sidetracked?
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.